we seem to be recording. We're recording on the doohickey and on the thingamabob.
You got to turn the screen share back on, though.
Oh, that's true. Yes. Okay, so that means we're now. There we go. Going live. Okay, recording on the doohickey, the thingamabob, and etc. Welcome to Well, There's Your Problem. It's a podcast about engineering disasters with slides, which takes a long time to get going because I can't record for shit.
5 full minutes, baby.
It was a lot longer than that.
Yeah, that was confusing. I'm Justin Rosniak. I'm the person who's talking right now. My pronouns are he and him.
I am Alice Caldwell-Kelly. I am the person who is talking now. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm currently being roasted by the heat wave that has overtaken Scotland.
Ooh, no, thank you. I am Liam Anderson. My pronouns are he, him, and this is the first podcast I'm recording with my new mic. Hopefully it'll get y'all motherfuckers to stop pitching a fit in the comments. I know it'll be hard for you douchebags.
They'll find something.
I did like someone saying you could talk to everyone face to face and they would still find a way to complain about your mic quality. And that's absolutely right.
Well, because you'd have to have the COVID screen, right? So it'd be like a bank teller.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get one of those. I'm just basically gonna have a welding mask on at all times, I guess.
To avoid looking at the pretty blue light.
Please look at the pretty blue trolley, not at the pretty blue light.
Yes. Okay. So, what do you see on the screen in front of you is a cruise ship.
It's spawning season for lifeboats. They all swim upstream and they gather together at the lighthouse.
Yes.
I also see a cruise ship on its side. Is this some sort of thing where you hold the pistol sideways because it makes you look cooler? is that what's happening here?
Yeah, it's more tactical to do
this.
Is
it more tactical for the cruise ship to be like this?
Well, it presents a smaller radar signature.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Just dumping 50 million gallons of radar signature reducing paint on a cruise ship I've just parked in the middle of the Atlantic.
Yeah, it's a stealth cruise ship.
It's like that research ship that, rotates 90 degrees and it's half submarine. You ever seen that
that's
one?
Cool.
Yeah, that's a cool one. No, this is the Costa Concordia. And it ran aground in 2013 because they fucked up. And we're going to get into that. But first we have to do the goddamn news.
Yeah, you knew it was going to be this one.
Yeah, everyone knew it was going to be this one.
It has a way of grabbing our attention to the point where we had to put out a tweet that was just like, yeah, we know.
Yeah,
we heard about it.
Yeah, by and large, when we get tagged in things 15 times in 10 minutes, I assume that I just check my phone sometimes. I'll leave it in the kitchen or something and I'll come back out and it's just a wall of Twitter notifications.
Yeah.
I'm just something bad has happened.
Yeah, you just the thing, it's like the bat signal by this point, and it's the most unintended consequence of doing this podcast is that I'll just be chilling and my phone just be with a separate notification. I'm just huh.
Everyone's rushing to tell us that something horrible happened.
Yeah, that's right. What a career we've made for ourselves.
You guys are monsters.
Yeah, I was just enjoying a nice day.
just like a bomb's going up as you're being incinerated. Oh, I can't wait to tell the folks that, well, there's a problem about this.
What you can do, the hard mode is to tag us in a tweet of yourself being incinerated. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, we'll get tagged in a live stream. Of someone about to be murdered by a curtain of lava that's approaching or something like that.
Yeah.
In the event that you are murdered by a curtain of lava that's fast approaching, thanks in advance for your contributions to science and also this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, getting that data out in front of you.
We really do appreciate it.
Anyway, there was a big boom in Beirut.
Say big boom.
Big boom.
Big boom.
Big boom.
Yeah. That Lexington, Virginia is sure showing, huh, Roz?
So there were 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate that were impounded in a warehouse in Beirut
We have
Because
learned nothing.
There was a Russian vessel that was was stuck in Beirut because it failed inspection, and then the owners abandoned it. And then they detained
with the crew, by the way. Because I remember the Russian captain who had been left on this thing was trying to get the Russian government to extract him from having been arrested and held on this boat full of ammonium nitrate. And the Russian embassy was like, "Oh, what do you want us to do? Send in the fucking Spetsnaz?" You know?
Yes. What do you pay them for? They're already paid for. Send them in.
I would simply say that guy has proved his point, right? I hope he's okay. I don't know if he is, but either way, he has been vindicated.
Well, I mean, it was bizarre how this played out, because I guess the authorities in Lebanon took the crew basically hostage in order to get the owner of the vessel to pay for the needed repairs so they could send it on its way, because they didn't want to have to deal with seizing this, worthless little boat, right? And eventually they wound up offloading the cargo and holding it and impounding it for 6 years. It's been there since 2014. And, it's a big chunk of ammonium nitrate that's just sitting there in a warehouse. Eventually it's going to blow up, and it did.
Yeah. Yep. Also, one of the other things is that part of the reason why it got impounded in the first place, why it couldn't pay the fees, is because of a safety concern. This same captain, he was trying to make that money back by shipping some cargo from Beirut onto the final destination for this ammonium nitrate, which is, I think it was Zaire, maybe.
Mozambique.
Mozambique.
Jesus.
Yeah, and fucking Zaire doesn't even still exist, does it? Anyway,
I forgive you.
He was going to Rhodesia.
Listen, okay, he was trying to load this heavy agricultural machinery on there, and all of the hatches just were kind of rusting apart when they were trying to put it on there. He was like, "Nope, this is I'm not going to do that." So because of that, they didn't have any money. They couldn't leave Beirut, and so they just impounded it, and they just put all of the ammonium nitrate by the docks, which are, as we can see here, a quarter mile from, central Beirut.
Oh, yeah. And it blew up. It was a big boom. You can see right here, this was a grain elevator, concrete grain elevator. And if you know anything about concrete grain elevators, they are pretty sturdily built.
I'm surprised as much of it held up as it did, though.
I mean, it ripped through at least the first layer of silos. One of the things about concrete grain elevators, one of the reasons why you see so many abandoned ones in places like Buffalo and stuff like that, is they're so expensive to demolish because they're just solid concrete, right? They take months and months to tear down.
It's the shaking hands meme between flak towers and grain silos is being too annoying to demolish.
Yeah. So this is this held up that well against 1/4 of a small nuclear bomb.
Yeah, but, and I mean, there's videos of this. You can see the various blast waves. Pretty much all of Beirut now does not have windows.
Yes,
that would suck ass. Just trying to hang your laundry somewhere. It's
just broken glass
day. Just
everywhere.
Nope, stepping over the glass everywhere. Just
central air is pointless.
Whole city's a frat house now.
Also, if this is anything like Texas City, the safe assumption is that this just vaporized a bunch of firefighters, which is also not good.
Yeah. I think they say at least 100 people dead at this point.
Real bad.
Real bad, and yet still not as bad, to be honest with you, as I thought it was going to be.
No, it's you wouldn't say that to people. You wouldn't go around being
it could have been worse.
Yeah,
but just
it actually
based on the videos we were seeing, sort of when it happened, I was kind of thinking, 5 9/11 stacked on top of each other, because a bomb much smaller than that in Oklahoma City killed 190 people.
Oh yeah, and in those first couple of hours when nobody really knew anything. it seemed like totally apocalyptic, which of course it does. If you're on the far side of the city and all of the glass in your house just explodes, of course you're going to be like terrified. And it's, still extremely bad, but sort of not quite as bad as it looked from the first images, I guess.
Yeah, one nasty thing is apparently this grain elevator is like the most significant grain elevator in the country.
Fuck.
So
it's shut down the
country
ports
that's already
too.
fucked.
Yeah, a country that's already fucked and that has to import like 80% of its food by sea. That's gonna be a real problem. And so now, on top of all of that, you have like people who are justly very, very angry at pretty much every politician in Lebanon. To the point where you have vultures like Emmanuel Macron showing back up and being like, perhaps we should do the colonialism again.
Oh, God. Man, like...
Algeria is French and always will be.
You stole my joke! God damn it, dude!
French imperialism is. I say this as a beneficiary of British imperialism, which is the most clown shoes. French imperialism is the second most clown shoes kind of imperialism because you're just doing like the worst tortures imaginable in order to maintain your hometown of Gégène-sur-la-Plage, which you hate, and like all other French people hate, and you're constantly mad at yourself and everyone for having to be there. But it's a decision that you've made, and you're not going to unmake it.
Oui, I own the plantation in Saint-Domingue.
Jesus.
Which I've never been to.
There's a literal there was a change.org petition that was like, give Lebanon back to the French mandate for 10 years.
No, do not
so
do
that
this.
they can
Do not do that.
all of the shit out.
I think there's some positive news, or maybe things aren't as bad as they seem, at least with regard to the port itself, because all of the bulk imports were sort of in this area. There's a container terminal which was basically untouched by this blast, as far as I can tell. And a lot of these warehouses, I think you can put back up fairly quickly, because they're kind of just glorified sheds. So
yeah,
overbuilt glorified sleds.
So I don't know, but Lebanese folks right now are already like overthrowing their government over this. So
good for you guys.
Yeah, good for them.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Try not to install a theocracy.
Yep.
And
good luck. Have fun. Both Lebanon and Belarus going off at the same time.
I know, right?
Busy week.
You like packing them a Lunchable. Good luck overthrowing your government.
Don't forget to take a shot of JMO before you go to work. It's just a Molotov cocktail full of Jameson.
But yeah, and a lot of people were speculating this was like a nuclear bomb or a missile.
The Israelis did it. No, not this time.
Like, this is completely Occam's razor, folks. It's a large amount of ammonium nitrate that's been sitting in a poorly ventilated warehouse for
the most devious Israeli plot yet, to cause all of these cascading pieces of incompetence in such a way as the port fucking explodes.
We'll get you. We'll get you, motherfucker.
I'm surprised they don't blame it on Putin. That's it's Russian ammonium nitrate.
Oh yes.
Ooh. Also, this is to throw the election to Trump in Lebanon.
They call it ammonium nitrate-iskaya.
All right.
Much more dangerous than regular ammonium nitrate.
The K-Hive putting like the gold ring around the corpses of Lebanese people and telling us we should all consider ourselves very lucky for the mere chance, or Kamala, you will never get me excited about Kamala fucking Harris. You'll never get me excited about Joe Biden. I thought it was
going to be Buttigieg. I really kept hope alive. I thought I had high hopes.
That would have been funny as hell. That was the funniest outcome.
I like that just Bras just totally ignored you, but I heard you, Alice.
Mm.
Wow, once I can get out of this stupid country. God, no.
Yes.
I'm gonna get a high hopes drop.
Please don't.
No,
we're gonna get sued for copyright infringement.
Next slide.
Moving on.
We've learned nothing about ammonium nitrate.
This one literally just happened today when we're recording this.
Yeah, exactly.
The 6:38 Aberdeen to Glasgow Queen Street high-speed train extremely derailed at a place called Stonehaven, possibly due to a landslip. Nobody actually knows yet. It's like, by way of like contextualizing when we're recording this, at the time of going to press, 3 people have died. That I feel certain that number's going to go up. It's the first time that there have been like actual on-track deaths on the British Rail network since 2007.
That's better than we're doing.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's real bad. Basically, this is also like most obviously a climate change thing, right? As I mentioned, the heat wave, it's been fucking hot in Scotland for the last week at least, and then Edinburgh and the whole east of Scotland got a massive thunderstorm, which we in Glasgow, of course, missed out on because, you know, God does not like us. And huge amounts of flooding. The Union Canal in Edinburgh burst its banks. And ScotRail, before this happened, in the morning, because it was an early morning service, they put out a photo of the line. And it's just underwater, basically. I don't know why they ran a high-speed rail service through this. That doesn't seem wise to me. No, the photos that we're not using, the overhead footage, shows something like the cab car and like the first 3 coaches just off the rails down an embankment. Another coach just crushed underneath another one, which I didn't think was even supposed to happen anymore.
It looked like the whole roof had gotten ripped off.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we'll have to wait for more details, but like we were sort of puzzling over this because we were looking at the layout of the like where the train cars came to rest, and all 3 of us were like, well, that doesn't make any fucking sense. How does that happen?
And I'm frankly surprised that that they would. It feels like you need to be going pretty fast for that amount of damage to happen. And the only thing I can think of is they ran into one from the news reports. It seems like they ran into one sort of landslide washout area, and they managed to stop. And then it was like, all right, we're going to go back. And then on the way back, they ran into another landslide, and just sort of went the train went on the ground and then some. And one of these dangerous things about washouts, right, is sometimes the way the railroad signaling system works, at least over here in the United States, I don't know if there's a different system in Britain, is that your signal codes are transmitted by very low voltage currents in the rails, right? And this means that if, say, something happens to the rails so they break, the signals for that block go red, right?
Yeah, but if it's just underground or underwater, it's not going to trip anything.
Yeah, or if you have a washout, a lot of the times the rails stay intact even though the foundation's gone.
Right.
Yeah, so you just don't have any like ballast underneath the rails anymore.
Yes, that's not enough to support a train usually.
Especially like a full-size high-speed passenger train, which potentially traveling at speed. I mean, this is kind of a departure, right? Like normally, like British civil engineering is an infrastructure is not in a great state necessarily. There's been a lot of deferred trackside maintenance and things of that nature. But prior to this, right, the most like fatal accidents have almost always been like a car gets on the tracks somehow,
right?
Like level crossings, or it comes down an embankment, and that does not appear to be the case here. And so this is like I don't know what changes we're going to see as a result of this.
Yeah, it's very strange. I mean, it feels like, you know, if there were washouts and stuff like that, you should be running on a pretty heavy speed restriction. But you know, what do I know?
It was probably Russia.
Probably Russia. Yeah. Maybe they
we
threw some ammonium nitrate on.
Krashiskaya.
Yes. Just to throw the election for Donald Trump, of course.
Yes.
Everything I don't like is Russian misinformation propaganda.
It's true.
Yeah.
Everything I don't like is Bernie Sanders controlling Russia.
Oh, the Jews.
Yes.
The Jews.
Yeah. It was the Jews.
It usually is. Anyway. We'll get you.
All right. So that was the goddamn news. Okay.
Hey, it's a boat.
It is a boat. This boat is now berthed at Pier 83, I believe, in Philadelphia, in pretty sad shape.
Oh, do we have it?
The SS United States?
Oh, the SS United States. Oh, for a second I was thinking of Concordia.
No, that's been scrapped.
Yeah, that's why I was so confused.
So we're going to start this presentation here today by asking, what's a cruise ship?
It's a ship that cruises.
Yeah.
Did I do
it? We're done here.
What do I win?
Good podcast, everyone. Finally got it out in under an hour.
Woo!
Yeah. Hooray. So, long time ago, we had these things called ocean liners, right? You know, and ocean liners, the purpose of an ocean liner is to get people across an ocean, right? And they run on a set schedule. Once you had ships that were reliable enough to keep a schedule, as opposed to, I don't know, the wind dying out when you're like 1,500 miles from the nearest island, which is like the Azores. And like you're drifting for a month. Once you have like reliable motor ships, steamships, you can start running a fixed schedule. And this makes transatlantic, transpacific travel much more reliable, right? The ocean liner refers to the fact that, you know, it travels on a line with regular schedules. And, you know, we usually think ocean liners, they're very luxurious, right? You know, but that was only for some of the people on the ocean liner, right?
Yeah, if you watch the documentary Titanic, all of the Irish people were crammed into like rabbit hutches on like the steerage section.
A fiddly dee potato, right as we sink into the North Atlantic.
So, and they also transported mail. They transported express freight. Express freight being anything that, you know, is sort of time sensitive as opposed to something you would throw on a freighter, you know, which is a little slower. A lot of freighters carried passengers as well, just not a huge amount. In fact, they still do that. You can actually book a passage on a container ship across the ocean if you want to. But yeah, it's a weird way to travel. But I don't know. I'd be interested in doing that.
But you can do it.
Yeah. So now, one of the things is that ocean liners, you know, they are very useful, but eventually we get reliable air travel, right?
Boo.
Sort of in late 50s, early, really not until
huge mistake.
Not until the mid 60s are we like looking at reliable air travel. You don't have to like stop over 6 times to cross the Atlantic Ocean.
It should be hard.
Right.
Yeah, bring back, once again, banging this drum, bring back flying boats. Bring back, like, one side each aisle of one seat made of wicker. Yep. You have to stop in Shannon. You have to stop again in Iceland. You have to stop again in Gander.
Probably in Nuuk as well, yeah.
Yeah, bring that back. Bring that shit back.
These ocean liners start to fall out of favor as, like, a preferred means of transportation. Really sort of starting in the late 40s, but continuing on, they sort of gradually die out into the last new ones were being built as late as the 60s. But a lot of them were repurposed for pleasure cruises, right? So, what makes our cruise ship different from our ocean liner, right? Number one, it looks like ass.
Just a floating condo.
Oh my god, I hate these things so much.
What a miserable fucking boat.
The worst is when you see them in Venice and they just dwarf everything else around them,
Ah, shit!
including the city.
I was gonna add a slide to that. I forgot to do that. Crap.
Just imagine it. Just imagine this, but instead of the port, it's Venice.
I'll put it in
because they
post.
get right up close to like the actual city too. So
way too fucking close.
Yeah, it's up at what's it? St. Michael's Square,
St. Mark's.
St. Mark's Square. Yeah, and it's like the cruise ship is by far the largest thing you can see. You know,
Venetians hate them.
Oh my god! I mean, that's the thing about cruise ships is they're so big. I'll get into that in 1 second. So your pleasure cruise, right? It's mostly close to shore, not so much in the open ocean, right? So once you start making purpose-built cruise ships, you can build them a lot later than an ocean liner, right? So you're looking at thinner hulls, fatter ships with higher centers of gravity.
Oh boy!
Right.
So they've just made a crossover.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a crossover.
It's the Pontiac Aztec.
Yes.
And
You know what pisses me off? Actually, I have a rant about that ready to go. Here's the fucking thing with the Aztec, man, is that everybody shit on it, and sort of rightfully so, because at the time, like, it was a practical design, but it was kind of hideous. But, like, the Tesla Model X is a Pontiac Aztec. Look at pictures of the two of them side by side. It is, and people, like, cream their pants over the Model X, which is just an electric Pontiac Aztec. Like, just absolutely pisses me off so much because, listen, I'm not going to give early 2000s GM much credit, but the Aztec was a fine car, and it doesn't deserve to be shit on like this.
I'm like this for the Fiat Multipla, which is a very similar.
Yes.
I don't know what that one is.
It holds 6 people.
Yeah, I guess it's the first MPV you would call it. And it looks like
like the weird duck bill with the
yes.
like. Yeah, Roz, do you remember the episode of Top Gear where they build a car for old people?
No.
Okay, well, Ross, in an episode of Top Gear, Hammond and Clarkson build a car for old people. And they use the Fiat Multipla to do it.
Google image Fiat Multipla.
I could.
I find it charming.
Absolutely,
it's weird because it's not really Italian. It's very goofily French, but I like it.
So welcome to Car Talk.
Thing. It's that thing. Oh, with like where like the windshield goes down and then the metal underneath curves back, and then there's like the hood. And I know what this thing is.
Yeah. Good as hell.
It's like a platypus.
Also 3 abreast seating, which is honestly really nice. It's nice to be able to take 6 people if you have a jam.
I mean, it's French. It's like it's you, your wife, and your wife's mistress.
Well, it's Italian, but sure.
Yeah.
Man, you've been out of the EU for what, like 3 days?
Same difference.
Well, that's fair.
All right. So, back to boats, which is what this is about, not cars.
So my hole.
we get these big cruise ships, right? They keep getting bigger over time. They're big, they're ugly, they're slow, intrusive, they're damaging to the environment, right? They're navigational nightmares. They're always bumping into things. Cruise ships bump into stuff all the time. If you watch YouTube,
they're big boats.
You know, they're going into all these little ports and swamping small craft. You know, they're displacing enough water to damage structures on shore, you know, cause big waves, big wakes, all this crap. And the cruise ships just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right?
Look at that wall of balconies. Hate it.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine being in the middle of that and like looking from side to side and just seeing like vertical
dudes.
Just like being in living in a filing cabinet.
The last thing I want when I'm on a cruise ship is a balcony where if I fall off, I just fall in the ocean, and then the cruise ship keeps going.
A lot too.
Yeah, it does happen a lot.
Cruise ships kill a bunch of people. They're unhygienic as hell, as we've seen. But like also the environments for staff are incredibly abusive and toxic.
Take your passport.
pretty much like once a year, somebody just disappears and is never found and never will be.
Yep.
It probably fell off.
Personally, I think Disney, by reputation, is the worst, but don't quote me on that.
We love you. We love you, Nazi Mouse. 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 Listen, man. It's a shame too because I do like boats, but the only cruise I would ever consider going on is the rebirth of the Cunard lines. They do like 120 night around the world cruise. That's the only one I would ever consider doing.
Yeah, the ones that are kind of like ocean liners. Yeah. Like even the QE2 and like the Queen Mary 2, those are kind of like closer to the ideal of an ocean liner.
Those are old school.
Well, they are actual ocean liners. Yeah. And then you got like stuff like Hurtigruten in Norway, which actually serves a vital transportation purpose as well as being, kind of like a cruise ship. Because it's like also a mail ship for all these coastal communities that don't have road access. So, that's sort of like a cruise ferry, I guess you would call it, which is another
packet.
Done it.
Yeah.
So 100 so just so everybody knows, when we're making that Chapo money, we will be taking the World Voyage, which is we'll be taking the New York to New York 113 night cruise. So if y'all could give us $50,000, please.
We will be wearing tuxedos at all times.
Yes.
It's going to be incredibly cool.
We're going to find a way to sink the boat. It'll be great. We'll have to loot the liquor cabinet as we're going down with the ship.
We find a German spy on board. Please draw fan art of this, by the way.
All right. So today's cruise ships, defined by sheer size and their bizarre amenities, right?
Why is there a swimming pool on it? You're surrounded by water.
Yeah, because you can't swim in that water. The boat will leave you behind.
Just tie them off.
Yeah, we got a swimming pool, and then they just keel haul you.
I'll teach your kids to fill up a lobster bisque.
The only good amenity for a cruise ship is the Soviet carrier Admiral Kuznetsov, where the photo of this that I've seen, because it just burns mazout, this really dense, low-grade bunker oil. And I've seen a photo of just dudes out sunbathing on the flight deck on their day off, and the air is like thick with haze from this fucking smokestack. That's what all cruise ships should be like.
Well, a lot of them today burn diesel, but it's high sulfur diesel. That's where you get these statistics like, one ship produces the same amount of pollution as 300 million cars or whatever. It's like, well, you're measuring it in sulfur emissions, not CO2 emissions. So anyway, a lot of these these things are measured in terms of size in something called gross tonnage, right? Which sounds like a measure of weight. It's actually a measure of volume. So there's some
displacement, right?
Yeah, it's something like that, which I've never quite. I don't quite understand.
There's no replacement for displacement. There's no replacement for displacement. Big dumb American V8. There's no replacement for displacement. I'm ready.
So, as an example, this is Symphony of the Seas. It's the largest cruise ship on the ocean right now.
So goddamn depressing looking.
Yeah,
228,081 gross tons. 6,680 passengers. 2,200.
How many passengers? How many passengers?
6,680.
That's too many fucking people to go on vacation with.
Yeah. Now 2,200 crew.
So with an entirely corporate system of government and law enforcement, and
that's too many people, man.
16 decks, 22 restaurants, 4 pools. Facilities include a children's water park, a full-size basketball court, ice skating rink, a zip line that is 10 decks high, a Broadway-style theater
why
with
is a good
seating
question.
capacity of 1,401
Imagine
passengers.
seeing Hamilton in the middle of the
people?
fucking ocean.
1,400 people. That's too many people.
An outdoor aquatic theater with
Why?
Olympic height platforms.
How?
And two, count
That
'em,
society is too decadent.
43-foot-high rock climbing walls. There's also
You're
a
just now
park
trying to
containing
piss
over
on
20,000
God.
tropical plants. One
You're
of the
just like,
cocktail
yeah,
bars
I'm
on
gonna
board
go
includes
rock climbing.
electronic ordering via tablet and drink preparation by 2 robot bartenders that can prepare up to 2 drinks per minute.
That's
You're
not even
just
that
trying.
fast.
You're
That's
just trying to attack and dethrone God. Like you're just
do you
like.
know why people
I want to
support
go
third
rock
worldism?
climbing.
It's because
Where
of
shall I
shit
go
like
and do
this.
rock climbing?
This is why the Taliban
Atlantic
hates
Ocean?
us. This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's some vintage. Well, there's your problem shit. Where it's Roz bravely trying to read through a features list as Alice and I scream at him.
Now,
Robot bartenders.
yeah,
That's literally a bit from Futurama.
Yeah.
It's also literally a vending machine. Yeah, I'm gonna pay $15,000 to go and get a fucking like cocktail out of a vending machine.
I don't understand why you
miss
need all
Roman
these
Tom's.
amenities. I thought, part of it was just, being on the boat and relaxing and, going to interesting
Because you have to
places.
do
But what I
everything
know-
all the time because they're not interested in actually seeing the places, Roz, because it's a checklist, because people are just like, well, we hung out on the boat, and that's fine, hang out on the fucking boat, but don't hang out with 6,500 other people on the boat. It's not a fucking vacation, man. That's just being on a beach.
You hate these ports of calls. I have, disclaimer,
What are the
I have
ports of
taken
calls?
a cruise once, right? It was to Alaska, and all these towns had the same 10 stores right next to the dock.
Mm-hmm.
How big is this boat?
This boat.
This is a big dumb boat.
It's a big
There's a
dumb
whole
boat, yeah.
water park.
I just read the
I
features
know,
list to you.
man. There's family style Italian from Jamie Oliver and much more.
Oh my
that
God.
fucking thick-tongued cunt.
Oh.
He made all of the soda in this country taste bad.
Good afternoon, Alice. How's it going, buddy?
Jamie fucking Oliver.
I just, I will say, I guess it's nice that, for $700 per person, you get all that stuff. I'm looking at the ports of call, which are Miami, at least from Miami. So St. Martin, Phillipsburg on St. Martin, San Juan, and then you go to, I assume their private island in the Bahamas, and then back to Miami.
Little St. James.
Yeah, work for your dinner, I guess.
I think I would approve of this if the captain were allowed to flog anyone he wanted.
This shit sucks, dude.
That's just the Scientology cruise ship, Justin.
No, I think it should be like, all right, if you have all these nice amenities, sure, but also you can be flogged.
We're
if you
thrown in the
misbehave.
brig.
Yes. Or
This is just
keel-hauled.
Kingstown.
No, this is maritime shipping.
Same difference.
It's true. Yeah. All right. So anyway, I don't know. So these cruise ships, they're getting big. They're getting stupid.
How
we have to talk
how
about
the hell is this shit only $200? Is it $200 a night?
probably 200 a night. Yeah.
There's no way. All right, hold up. You do this, and I'm going to see how much this is going to cost us.
You're also trying to buy tickets during a pandemic, so it's probably
just
Look at the
trying to-
size of that fucking monster.
I just it's $199 per person, but it's over 3 nights. That's not bad. Roz, you want to go on a cruise?
no.
Okay.
do you want to get in this metal box?
With me?
Remember how the ocean liners had these nice sort of swept clean lines, and how this doesn't, and it looks like a fucking Soviet Khrushchevka
It just
on
looks
a
like an
boat.
appliance. It looks like an appliance. It's just
It looks like ass.
it does, because it's just like
Absolute ass.
we're gonna cram as many fucking people in this boat as we can possibly fit, and you're all gonna just be running around and screaming because you're on vacation with 6,500 other people. Like, this isn't fun or relaxing. I don't know, man. I guess I just don't get it. But like, I hope this thing gets hit by an air to sea missile. That's all I can say.
Just an exocet just coming down a wave height.
We've lost the water park, Captain.
Turns out Symphony of the Seas has retaliatory countermeasures. So it's just firing over the horizon missiles in every direction.
I love to operate the Phoenix close-in weapon system on Ocean Odyssey or whatever.
They're shooting back with the T-shirt cannon from the onboard baseball stadium.
The one 19-year-old Filipino kid who's being paid $3 an hour as a fucking marksman. Don't take a cruise, man. Go anywhere else.
Yeah. So, all right. So we have to ask, what is Costa Cruises, right? It started as a cargo line founded in 1854 by Giacomo Costa of... Oh, it was called Giacomo Costa Fuandria.
Oh, boy.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Passenger services began in 1948 between Italy and South America under the name Linea C.
This sounds like some...
Why in 1948 there would be so much traffic between a former Axis country and South America is
100% Argentinian citizens.
Yeah, did you? I love how like I made an offhand. This sounds like the Rat Lines joke, and you just like that. Yes, that it was literally reality, as in everything.
Yeah.
Everything we do, I'm just like me or Alice is like, yeah, then what happened, and then it did happen.
Yes, fucking Senor Hilter boards his first-class cabin for a new life in Brazil.
Well, at least we got Eichmann.
Yeah.
He dragged him right out of the fucking street.
So, started to transition into offering mostly cruises in the late 50s from passenger transportation and freight transportation, right?
And you could just fucking fly to Brazil by that point.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
And, Nazis need vacations too.
You know, yeah, you get in your Yunker and you cross the South Atlantic. Yeah. So by 1980, they had the largest fleet of cruise ships in the world, right? In 1986, they became Costa Cruises. And in 2000, they were bought outright by Carnival Cruises, but they still operate under Costa Cruises. And they primarily cater to the Italian market. This is a cruise line for Italians, right?
Sure.
Terrific. Not making any Italian jokes this time.
Yeah, I was about to say.
No wonder the book sank. I got you. This is what happens when you try to build a seagoing vessel out of fucking pasta shells. Yep. Once it started sinking, they changed teams to the boat. What else I got here?
They changed teams to the ocean.
They changed teams to the ocean. Yeah, listen,
I'm on Team Boulder.
Your most famous, your most well-known expert besides it's either Leonardo or Michelangelo, and where are all of Leonardo's best-known works? Not in fucking Italy.
Yeah.
Although that Italian dude did try to steal the Mona Lisa back. That was cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, honestly, but no, you can't have it. Look, honestly, it should be in the United States, but that's a whole other argument.
Everyone transfers their most important works around, right? So all the Italian masterpieces are in France, but all of the obelisks are in Italy. So who's to say?
Yes, that's fair.
Which is good or bad? All the Elgin marbles are in Britain, but Greece has
skyrocketing debt and good food.
Yeah, exactly. So who's to say if it's good or not?
But all of this stuff ended up this way purely by accident.
Yeah. So,
I have to tell Alice something that I just saw on Twitter.
Boy.
Somebody found the state gang task force of Arizona seized a rifle that had a chainsaw mounted to it.
That rules.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, I like that.
Give that guy back his gun. That fucking rocks.
I thought this was America.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Also, Arizona is Ian McCollum okay? I mean,
Show me in the ATF manual where it says a gun can't have a chainsaw mounted.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. No. Where in the Second Amendment does it say you can't put a chainsaw on a gun? Where does it say that?
Let's talk about a specific
the
boat.
keep getting uglier.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
This is the Costa Concordia, right? You can see because it's written on the side of the boat.
That's a big ass EU flag.
Yeah, so this was the first member.
Yeah, it just shows up outside your Balkan coastline in Croatia, like beep beep, it's sovereign debt restructuring.
We're here to help. Load them into the black sites. We're here to help.
I'm suddenly reminded that during the Catalonian independence referendum, when the Spanish sent the federal police up to Catalonia to take charge of the situation, they barracked them on a cruise ship. So, fuck, cruise ships are fascist, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Welcome to the party, Alice.
It's not even fascist in an interesting way.
No, it's
because,
fascist in the most
the
boring.
captain can't whip you.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, man.
Look, I think you should be subject to maritime discipline on a cruise ship.
I'm just so proud of you that you're able to be open about this part of your personality now.
I think I'm gonna vomit. I'll have a bonus episode, which is just me saying "crush that puss" for 45 minutes to an hour.
The captain's he's got a cat of nine tails just whipping some Karen.
Is that what they're calling it now?
Oh my God.
Right. Moving on very swiftly.
So the Costa Concordia was the first member of the Concordia class of cruise ships, right? This was built to improve on an earlier class called the Destiny, right?
The Destiny or the Destiny? What?
The Destiny.
Okay, got it.
And this class was shared between Carnival Cruises and Costa Cruises. The Concordia class was mostly Costa Cruises, although I think Carnival operated one under the Carnival brand. They built 6 ships between 2006 and 2012. They are 114,000 gross tons, 952 feet long, 116 feet high, 14 decks, 3,000-ish passengers, 1,100 crew.
Nope,
right?
Too many people.
That's too many people.
Yeah. Don't like it.
That's how
don't
you get
like it. Too many people.
Costa Concordia had one of the largest exercise facility areas at sea.
No, I'm going to take a boat. What am I going to do on the boat? I'm going to work out.
Yeah.
I'm on vacation. Fuck off.
6,000 square meter. That's 64,600 square feet. Fitness center.
That's
with
stupid.
A gym, a thalassotherapy pool. I don't know what the hell that is.
Is that what
Water
you
therapy, I assume.
No, thalasso is a fish. It's where you would swim
in the open ocean.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's you have a bunch of fish in there in the
what
pool,
the fuck?
And they bite off all your dead skin.
No,
yeah.
It's the use of seawater as therapy, not as fish.
Fine,
I guess.
I preferred it better when I thought there was just going to be a porpoise in there.
Y'all.
There's just a porpoise in there.
And it's like they went into a laboratory and were like, how can we make Liam as miserable as possible? And it's a vacation 6,000 people are also on. B, fish as therapy. C, I assume my ex-girlfriend's gonna show up. Some sort of fucking they don't have tobacco or alcohol on this cruise ship. The lights out at 10 p.m. There's quiet hours, there's mandatory chapel. You just throw yourself fucking overboard. I get it, man.
This facility also had a sauna, a Turkish bath,
oh boy,
and a solarium.
Solarium sounds cool.
The ship had 4 swimming pools, 2 with retractable roofs, 5 jacuzzis, 5 spas, and a poolside movie theater on the main pool deck. There were 5 onboard restaurants.
Capitalism.
With Club Concordia and Samsara taking reservations-only dining. There were 13 bars, including a cigar and cognac bar and a coffee and chocolate bar. Entertainment options
at least they've
included.
got the fucking cigars, so your tobacco thing isn't
Yeah, it's Italian. Entertainment
the
options
Berlusconi
included
bar.
a 3-level theater, casino, a futuristic disco, a children's area equipped with video games and a basketball court. She also had aboard a Grand Prix motor racing simulator and an internet cafe.
Fucking stupid. Absolutely.
Justin, are you familiar with the Greek dramatic term hubris?
Yes.
That's
what a cruise ship is.
God.
The maiden voyage was July 14th, 2006, but notably, this is important, at the vessel's launch at Sestri Ponente on 2nd of September 2005, the champagne bottle, released by model Eva Herzegova, failed to break and swung against the hull the first time.
She's a cursed ship, Captain.
She's cursed.
Yes.
Don't go in there.
That is bad. That is not good.
Bad luck.
Hold on a second, and I'm going to tell you about the captain, but I need to get another beer.
You know, I that is something where, like, I will just never understand the appeal of cruises. I don't think I ever will.
No. I mean, pretty cool to have an internet cafe, though. And you don't see one of those very often anymore.
No, that's true. I've always wondered what it would like to constantly live in 1996.
In 2006, even. This is like, I feel like the thing is, like, cruise ships may be an inherently fascist mode of transportation, but they're also a time machine to 10 years before they were launched.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Like, you can just get on one of these and, like, because they'll never update the, like, furnishings or the decor or anything. It's always going to be 1995 forever.
I don't understand. Can I tell you something? The idea of reservations only dining on a ship I like have to be on because I'm in the middle of the ocean just makes no sense to me.
Getting bumped off the reservation list.
Like, how does that even work?
Like, what am I going to do? Throw myself overboard then?
Oh, hey, sir. Sorry, we had to cancel your reservation even though you've already paid to be
pretty
here.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And like there's vacations that like don't necessarily appeal to me, but at least I get like the all-inclusive resorts that I get because I just want to be drunk in a stupor all the time.
Yeah, you want to be like, you want to live your normal life, but like in a location that's kind of nicer and you don't have to worry about stuff. I get that.
There's on a travel website and it's got a picture of the oh god, what's the really famous mosque in Istanbul?
The Hagia Sophia?
Yeah, yes. And there's just a woman in, of course, the like stereotypical early 20s black hat. And there's like no one else at the Hagia Sophia. I'm just like, that is not the case when I was there.
No.
First it's a church, then it's a mosque. First it's a church, then it's a mosque.
then it's a museum, and then it's a mosque again.
I don't know why people are making such a big deal about it.
Listen,
like you could probably still go in there, right?
Because Turkey is backsliding. Because Turkey is backsliding into fundamentalism, and after 100-ish years after a quote secular democracy, end quote, it's actually kind of it's a little scary.
Secularism is when you kill the Kurds, and the more Kurds you kill, the more secular you are.
Yes. I don't know. They should just bring back the Ottoman Empire. That's my opinion.
Yeah, we can all be like bays in the Ottoman Empire together.
Yeah.
My personal feeling is that like I'm fine with them not making it a mosque if they give back the Grand Mosque of Cordoba.
No, shut up.
It's you just built an ugly church.
Not an inch. Not an inch. Not an inch.
No, I'm 100% in favor of demolishing the cathedral part of the Mosque of Cordoba.
Wow.
That shit's crap. They should never have done that. Tear it the fuck down. Restore it to its original condition.
You know what King Philip said when they showed him the cathedral that they built?
He said something along the lines of, "You've taken something wonderful and made it ordinary."
Yeah, you've destroyed something entirely unique and made it commonplace. Yeah.
It was bad when it was built. It's been bad throughout its entire history. It's bad now. Tear it down.
Yeah, give that shit back. Give it back.
And rebuild Penn Station.
Yes.
It's
Also
a list of our demands.
Yes.
One hostage every hour.
Andy Byford,
right.
this could all be avoided. Andy Byford, this could all be avoided.
All right. So, the captain of this boat we are looking at, Francesco Schettino.
Schettino.
Right? Schettino.
Jesus.
Francesco Schettino. Okay. He attended a maritime academy. He worked on a ferry for a while. He was hired by Costa Cruises in 2002, and he was promoted in 2006 to be captain of the new Costa Concordia. Now, prior to what we're going to talk about today, he had been involved in at least one incident.
Cruise ship captains, they're like cops. You know, you just rack up disciplinary things. It's fine.
Yeah. You know, they put some points on his license because they caught him speeding while entering the port of Warnemünde.
Oh, shut up. That's not real.
In 2010. It's in Germany.
I'm guessing Warnemünde?
Warnemünde. I don't know.
That's not fucking real. It's a fucking boat, man.
It's the inlet
you get caught for speeding. It's like that train commercial, like another cruise ship marked up as like a cop version pulls you over.
No, what happened was the reason he got caught for it is because supposedly his speeding damaged another Carnival Cruises owned ship, which was operating under the German brand.
Oh, of course it was.
Yeah, which I forget what it's called.
It's Waluigi voice.
I was trying to do a baby crying, but yeah, sure. Why not?
This guy kind of is like the Waluigi. This is the thing. Within every Italian is like an opposite and equal force of chaos, beginning with the letter W. So, like, this wasn't Francesco Schettino. This was like Francesco Wettino.
Yes.
Thank you, Alice.
You're welcome.
You know, when we needed a Mario, they sent us a Waluigi. So, all right. So this guy, Francesco Schettino, right? He bears a lot of responsibility for the events that are about to unfold, and he kind of acts like a scumbag during it, right?
Oh, good.
We also got to remember he's not solely responsible for what is about to happen.
No, of course not.
I think we've learned
almost never.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. Here's the route. So, they were going to be cruising the Western Mediterranean. They're going to start from Civitavecchia.
We got to get Noah back. Civitavecchia?
Yes, and then they were going to go to Savona, and then they were going to go to Marseille. I at least know how that one is pronounced.
It's Marseilles, dude.
And they were going to go to Barcelona and on to Palma, and then Cagliari, and then Palermo in Sicily, and then they were going to come back, right?
Got it.
Okay,
right.
Sounds like a nice, relaxing time.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you're on the Mediterranean. You know, you can like you can see all it's nice and calm. You know, the weather's nice because you're in this nice Mediterranean. Anyway, but of course, you know, you're too busy in like I don't know, working out in the huge onboard ship's gym to appreciate anything. So you know,
just a ship full of chads,
just pumping iron. Yeah. Anyway, the boat left on Friday, January 13th, 2012. 2012 or 2013?
Trust what you put in the notes. It's probably right.
Probably right, yeah. I'm just thinking about stuff I put later. So the boat left Friday, January 13th, 2012. You know, normal procedure. All the passengers have to take part in a muster drill before the boat leaves, right?
Yeah, we didn't have to do that.
Everyone has to go to the lifeboat stations to understand how the procedure of evacuating the boat works.
Sure.
So
not in as much detail as you would hope. It's more like you get in the boat and not like you get in the boat and then the boat like pivots to an 85-degree angle and is like fucking dropped off the side.
Details. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. So, anyway, boat leaves, and they decided to do something called a sail past salute, right? So the sail past salute is a very old practice whereby a boat goes close to shore to salute, a town or a place or something like that, right?
If you're going to have the Cat of Nine Tails, you should have to do salutes with cannon.
That's a good point. Yeah, absolutely. So this may be to give the passengers a better view, or because the crew member's from that place and wants to seize it or whatever. So wants to see it, not wants to seize it. You probably can't do that with a cruise ship. Unless
a crew of 2,000. You got a battalion strength ass cruise ship there.
That's a good point. Yeah, if you can convince the passengers to be with the cause, sure. So according to the captain's account, the manager of the ship is back at the offices of Costa Cruises, ordered a sail past salute of the island of Giglio. I don't know what the actual pronunciation.
I'm sure it's Giglio.
Giglio? All right.
I'm certain, but Giglio is much funnier.
Probably Giglio.
The island of Gigolo.
Gigolo? Yeah. The island of Juggalos.
It's where the spring where Fago comes from has.
So now this was fairly close to the boat's normal path that night, right? And the idea was, I guess, give the passengers a nice view at 9:45 in the evening, because that makes sense, right?
Scenic.
Right. Yeah, and the maitre d' was on the bridge at the captain's invitation. He was from the island of Giglio. Giglio. Whatever it's called. The place, right? And other factor, the captain's mistress was also on the bridge.
Italians.
Yes. All right, so they decide, they decide to do the sail past salute. They deviate from the normal course to get close to the island, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so.
Oopsie whoopsie.
Yeah, I was about to say oopsie doopsie. So, you got to remember it's nighttime, right? Despite this, Captain Schettino decided that since he knew the waters well enough, and he'd done this a couple times before, right?
I actually drive better when I'm drunk.
He decided he was going to turn off the computer navigation system and he'd navigate by radar and by sight.
Francesco, you've turned off your targeting computer.
So they're going to make a nice close pass of Porto Giglio, right? Maybe swamp a few small boats in the process and drive some giant waves up against the buildings and on the beach, break a few windows, maybe sweep a small child out to sea, and then, continue on their way, right?
This is the worst vacation ever.
Oh, yeah, everyone's about to go to bed, and, they just lay on the horn for 5 minutes, yeah. There's a bunch of angry Italians get out on a balcony, start waving their fists, yelling "Silenzio!" Yeah. So, anyway, yeah. So they were going to go disturb the peace, and it being night, and the captain not, navigating with in any fashion that made sense.
Just kind of eyeballing it.
Just eyeballing it. He's sticking out his thumb and sort of looking, to figure out where he's going. He didn't see he was off course until he spotted waves breaking on a reef. He ordered the helmsman to change course. The helmsman apparently turned the wheel the wrong way.
And these things are not maneuverable anyway,
yeah,
right?
I was about to say, once you see that, it's kind of like, I think we're fucked.
Just a little fucked, Cap.
Yeah, so it was too late. A big boulder forming a part of the Scola Piccola.
Just a very comically named part of Italy.
Yeah. That tore through the hole for 230 feet. That's this boulder right here. And that immediately flooded the engine room and the generator room in minutes, right? The head of engineering reported to the captain that the damage was irreparable and the power went out, right? Watertight compartments 6 and 7 were confirmed to be flooded. But they didn't figure out whether the bridge was aware that 4, 5, and 8 were also flooding, right?
Good.
The ship could handle 2 flooded compartments.
Couldn't the Titanic have like 17?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So we've just gone backwards.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But
The
it's
compartments
fine.
are bigger.
Yeah, there's not 17 of them.
Yeah. I don't know. That probably wouldn't. I mean, if you have more of them, but you still have a long gash, it's the same problem.
Talk dirty to me.
All right. So, skip the slide. All right. So once this incident occurs, it takes a long time for events to play out, right? Okay. So
disaster in slow motion.
Yeah. They hit the rock over here, right? And at this point, the generator room is flooded, which means the ship loses power, right? And the engine room is flooded, which means there's no propulsion, right?
Cool.
Now, there's not a lot of consistent timelines. There's no consistent timeline that seems to have been established here. I've seen multiple sources report very different timelines. So this is sort of a compilation of
We're
accounts,
reporting them
right?
as we have them. Yes.
Yeah. So you're drifting uncontrolled for a while. You may think, and you got a major gash, and there's a huge problem. You may think the natural thing to do is to give the order to abandon ship, like immediately, right? But that's not such a simple decision, right? So on a cruise ship, you have lots of old people. They got impaired mobility, right? You got families with small children. It's difficult to safely evacuate them, right?
Almost like it's an unsafe design.
Yeah. So, like, this often results in, injuries, even fatalities, and this is compounded because it's at night on a ship with no electricity, which is moving at, cruising speed on open sea, right? And mustering passengers to the lifeboats may take up to an hour.
You got to get them all off the climbing walls.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get them off the climbing walls. You got to get up the water park. You got to get them. They're all. Some of them are drunk at the
Various
bar.
Conditions of just arguing with the robot bartender. Give me another.
There's 50 people on elliptical machines.
Sorry, man,
and they're
can't do that. You're just shaking the robot bartender upside down. We're in a time of crisis, Isaac.
You got a bunch of people on elliptical machines in the gym. They got earbuds in. They can't hear you. You're not going to be able to tell them about anything until they finish their 50-minute run. So, all right. So here's the situation. A ship's taken on water. It has no power. You have no steering and no propulsion. The rudder is
Presumably
locked.
no lights also, right?
Yeah, the emergency lights are on. They still had those.
Okay.
You have no steering and no propulsion. The rudder's locked at hard starboard. The ship is starting to list. It seems to be drifting towards shore, and the list is not so bad, right?
Yet.
So from the bridge recorder, you can sort of look at the captain's line of thinking. This is translated, obviously. We are now drifting towards the shore. What depth are we here? Over 100 meters. Okay, we have to see if we can make it with the length of our anchor chain. Let's drift a bit more to shallow water and then drop the anchor. At worst, we'll sit on the seabed. Let's wait and see, right? So, the idea here that the captain had is like, okay, we'll try and keep the passengers calm. It looks like we're going to drift into shallow waters. And then, if we can't do anything, the worst case scenario is the boat sinks a little bit and settles on the seabed, right?
It's a big boat. You just climb further up the rock climbing wall.
Yeah, exactly. In an ideal situation where they had power and they were taken up on this much water, this close to shore, one of the things you try and do is drive it up on the beach, right? Bow first.
Oh, God.
Right?
You end up doing an amphibious landing after all.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
You thought the Italians were no so good at this, huh?
This is actually
Didn't forget Anzio.
relatively safe. It's actually a routine procedure in shipbreaking, right? To get the ship on shore is you just sort of drive it full speed onto a beach, right?
Like
The
that.
ship would remain upright. They could do a leisurely evacuation.
I love to fucking HMS Campbelltown a bunch of Indian shipbreaking workers.
This is a video I was going to put in. I forgot to put it in. I'll put it in post. Of this happening. The guy just drives his ferry like at full blast onto the beach and shoves two other huge boats out of the way. So, as it was, there was no power on the boat. There was no propulsion. Another option would be to call a tugboat to try and shove the boat into shallow waters and beach the ship in a more controlled manner. But as it was, the captain was like, let's wait and see if we can handle this ourselves, right? So this wait and see method cost them valuable time. You know, the big gash occurred sometime between 9:30 p.m. and 9:45 p.m., depending on the account. And, well, this account actually says 8:45, which is interesting. I just misread all the numbers. I mean,
Nice.
you know, God forbid.
Listen,
I
people don't come to us for. If you want accuracy, read the fucking report.
Yeah, exactly right. I couldn't find the actual report on this because I think if there was one, it was probably all in Italian.
Yeah, that'll be it.
Yeah. So, according to most accounts, after the gash occurred, right, all the lights went out, and the ship began to list to port. Right. Port is the left. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No red port left in the bottle.
Yeah. So, because it hit on the left side of the ship, the port side of the ship. So that's where the water came in at first. And it was listing enough that dishes started to slide off of tables. You know, stuff was being upended, right?
It's like the fucking advanced passenger train. It's smooth, it's quiet, and an altogether delightful experience.
Mm-hmm. So a voice came on the intercom informing the passengers that this was just an electrical issue, right? The situation was under control. That's always a bad sign when they say the situation is under control.
Yeah. Previously, I had thought that the situation was under control and no one was just, talking about it. But now we've entered the realm of declaring the situation one thing or another, and I'm not sure.
Well, the captain remained confident enough that the situation was under control that he actually ordered dinner at 10:30. That was shortly after he decided to request the assistance of a tugboat from the Livorno harbor master. Now, Livorno was 90 miles away, so that tugboat's going to take a while to get there.
Yeah, just a bit.
It's like, I could really go for some Jamie Oliver's Italian right about now.
Yeah.
No, I'll dig it out of the sea and it could be yours.
So, salty.
It's called thalassotherapy.
What's the Roz? What's that thing you make with the anchovies?
Oh,
Pasta puttanesca.
Yeah, puttanesca has anchovies. You can do a lot of stuff with anchovies. I do. It's just a pasta. It's just a red sauce with anchovies.
That's the only thing you get to eat now. Everything is puttanesca now.
I am always up for some small oily fish.
Oh, I know, buddy. You and my dad can just talk and hang out. So, okay, despite the fact that Captain's like, all right, we're going to figure this out on our own. I don't think this is a big deal. Some of the crew members, especially junior officers and some of those with some seafaring experience, are like, This is a big
Ooh,
deal.
shit's fucked. Right. So they go to the muster stations. They encourage passengers to do so, even though there's no official abandoned ship order, right? And they sort of wait for the abandoned ship order because they know it's coming since the shit was fucked.
Just like
right?
dicking around, smoking, like having a drink or two. Just like checking
Man, he's
your
really
watch.
taking his time with this
Like
one.
texting
Yeah, I was
some
about to
girl, be
say.
like, "Hey, you gotta be in town, about to go down with the ship." LOL.
You up?
Hey, might want to look out your window. You're about to see a cruise ship have some problems.
Is that how you
All right,
flirt,
so-
Rods?
Oh, my
Just
God.
standing outside, just standing outside some girl's window.
Yeah.
With like
Hey,
a,
I'm about to sink a cruise ship for you.
That's romance, ladies.
Yes. So you go. The boat drifted north, right, and then it started to swing around under the influence of the stuck rudder, I think. But it also could have been the wind. And then eventually it beached itself on a rock, right?
Punta Gabbianara.
Yes. And it this was an agonizingly slow disaster, right? This took 2 or 3 hours.
Good lord.
Right.
Well, it's better than the 15 seconds they normally take.
I mean, a lot of ships sink very slowly. You know, that's like one of the tragedies of the Titanic is that there weren't enough lifeboats. They had plenty of time, just not enough lifeboats. So, all right. By the
Good boy.
time the order to abandon ship came, after the ship had beached itself but was still tipping over, it was 10:50, right? It was at least an hour and 5 minutes after the impact, and this is when the list was pretty significant, as you can see from the picture. This is about 20 degrees, right?
Yep.
You can see
Doesn't
how,
sound like a lot. Looks like a lot.
Yeah, and they, you can see they've launched most of the lifeboats very quickly, which is on this side at least, right? But they were still, the lifeboats on the other side were quickly becoming less launchable, right? No one's figured
you
out.
You gotta drop them down like a bunch of like inclined superstructure and like fucking fucking grinding off the side of this fucking boat.
Yeah, exactly. And no one's figured out a good way to launch lifeboats from the side of a listing ship, right? This was no exception. The passengers at muster stations were crowding on the lifeboats, especially on this side that we see here, the side the ship is listing towards. Sometimes you'd have to jump from the muster station onto the lifeboat over like just air, right?
Oh,
Because
boy.
it was hanging off the side, and a lot of people got broken limbs from stuff like that.
Fuck that.
Other injuries. This is one of the reasons why abandoning ship is risky, right? A lot of crew members, of course, they just do stuff like cooking, laundry, serving, and bartending, entertaining. A lot of them spoke English. Not a lot of them spoke Italian.
Ugh.
So they had difficulty giving passengers instructions. This is one of the things that hindered evacuation efforts, but one of the big things is there was just no coordination with the senior crew whatsoever, right? So it was entirely being orchestrated by the people, by like the lower ranks of crew members.
It's got proletarian characteristics, is what it's got. I mean, genuinely though, it is impressive. Like to just do all of this stuff on your own initiative. It's just kind of scandalous that you have to, because the captain is just
Totally
like
incompetent.
I could go for gnocchi right now, actually.
A lot of a couple news outlets described it as a mutiny. It's like, yeah, we're gonna abandon ship, before the captain gives the order because the ship's fucked. But yeah, while the evacuation was happening, because the evacuation started before the abandoned ship order was given, the ship drifted onto some rocks, grounded itself. But after it grounded itself, because it wasn't like a nice even grounding, an intentional one that keeps it upright, it was on sort of a slope. So it kept listing over, right? And it listed to starboard further and further. So evacuation had to be coordinated from the port side. That's the side away from the camera here, right? And that effectively prevented lifeboats from being launched at all because they got to launch them down the side of this boat, which is listing further and further. Like the momentum doesn't carry them that far.
Getting closer and closer to the MS Estonia nightmare scenario, just walking out onto the side of the hull.
Right, exactly. And then hoping for a helicopter rescue in 45-degree water in the North Atlantic, in the wherever it was. Balkans it.
So now, despite this, all but 3 lifeboats were successfully launched.
Well, that's genuinely extremely impressive to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the ship was close enough to shore. I mean, you can see here in the corner, this is a rock right here.
Oh, on the left here?
Yeah. That a lot of
labeled rock.
So you could just swim it out, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people just swam
Dude,
to
can
shore.
you imagine that being your vacation ending? You've been fighting with your wife and your shitty kids all the whole time. The ship
You've had an argument on a rock climbing wall.
Ship just eats it into a rock.
I'm swimming to this rock. I'm going to live here the rest of my life as a hermit.
You could go home with the kids. I don't want to be here.
I'm not getting in that boat. I'm not getting in with you people. I'll take my chances in the open ocean. And then you swim 25 feet.
See you, nerd.
I mean, this is extremely funny because it's so close to the joke that I always make of if I was in an extremely dangerous situation, I would simply walk away, just get off the boat and swim to the thing. Yeah. I would just step onto the rock. Easy.
This reminds me of Mark Twain's poem about the horrific storm on the Erie Canal.
Go on.
Because, it describes how the canal boat was being rocked back and forth and the storm was so bad. And finally, the canal boat man was forced to step off the boat onto the towpath. Oh. So, all right. So now the boat was sinking. The evacuation was incredibly poorly coordinated. And now this is something which is going to make more sense to either people who speak Italian or people who are watching this on YouTube's. So at some point, the captain claimed he fell into a lifeboat.
That's literally my mom's client who claimed that he had not intentionally stabbed a guy because the other guy had walked into the knife. That's a line from Chicago. Yes, I didn't mean to. No, he really did though. He literally did claim in court that he had not tried to stab his friend over $50. The friend had run at him and had simply fallen upon the knife. I will get you the court transcripts.
My friend decided to embrace the way of the samurai and choose an honorable death on my blade.
I please leave me my grief. Thank you, ma'am.
Look, I was already shooting. He just walked in the path of the bullet.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'll preface this by saying, some people think the captain should go down with the ship, right? And this is, I think, an unreasonable thing, right? The ship's a machine. The captain's a person, right?
Nope.
But the captain is supposed to supervise and coordinate evacuation and should be the very last person off the ship.
That's true. We did have that conversation yesterday.
Yeah,
I did like the idea, Roz and I were talking, of the captain being like, "I'll be there in a minute, guys," just grabbing anything he can find from the bar. Stealing all the complimentary pretzels and shit.
Circuiting the robot bartenders.
I just run down to the ship's bar and trying to grab all the
over the vending machines.
He and the last
Stripping
officers
copper
on the
wire.
boat are like just going in there and grabbing all the Johnny Walker Blue out of the back of the bar. Yeah.
No, I mean, I like going down with the ship is like it's fine, I guess, but like it's like you see the sort of foolish romantic version of it, which is everybody else is off the boat. You see this with warships a lot. It happened as late as World War II, where like everybody else is off the boat, and then the captain's like, "Nah, I'm gonna stay." Actually, I think I kind of like,
dude, you got everyone off the boat. You can leave the boat.
he's just like, "Nah,
I'm fine.
Nah.
I belong here.
The example I put in here, like captains who are dumb and try and go down with the ship, even though all the passengers and crew are off. This happened on the Andrea Doria in 1956, another Italian ship. So the MS Stockholm just wrecked into it, right? And everyone who wasn't killed in the collision was successfully evacuated off the ship, right? And the crew had to basically drag the captain off the ship. He was like, "No, I'm going to go down with the ship."
They're like, no, dude, it's fine.
You don't have to do that.
no, we do not need you to do that.
You don't have
Just
to
get
do
the
that.
boat. Let's go, man. Can you imagine just like dragging some asshole who's like he's committed to dying? You're just like, nah, man. Like we can see it's over there. I can see land, man.
Right over there.
Get the goddamn lifeboat.
He wasn't even the one who caused the accident.
Yeah.
Like he just some other asshole hit his boat.
I'd be like screaming at him like if I were on the Stockholm, like, "It's our fault. Get off the boat."
He's just like, "No.
Look, you can kill me if you want. Just get off the boat." So anyway, yeah. So now the evacuation on the Costa Concordia was chaos and pandemonium. In the middle of it, around 11:30 in the evening, Captain Schettino said he fell into a lifeboat.
As you do.
There's a famous phone call from this incident between Captain Schettino and Captain Gregorio Del Falco.
Now that's a fucking name, by the way.
He's
if your name is Gregorio De Falco, you just like you don't have to become like a seafarer. They just make you a captain at birth. It just goes with the name.
He's a senator now in Italy, actually.
I wonder what his politics are. I will not be investigating this.
I was about to say, I don't know, probably I don't know, whatever the Christian Democrat Party is, he seems like a shoe in for that. So, he was of the Italian Coast Guard, and he there's a famous phone call where he ordered the captain to reboard the ship via a pilot's ladder, which I shall play now. There's captions on the hold on. There's captions if you're looking at this on YouTube. If you're on audio, good luck.
I am going because there is the other lifeboat that stalled.
I'm just hearing dial-up noises.
Yeah, same.
It's like,
I appreciate Roz's attempt to always embed video.
It never works.
Pronto? Sono De Falco da Livorno, comandante. Sì, comandante, si guarda. Pronto? Sì, buonasera, comandante. Senta, io sono De Falco da Livorno, parlo col comandante? Sì, buonasera, comandante Di Falco. Mi dica il suo nome, per favore. Sono il comandante Schettino, comandante. Schettino? Sì. Ascolti, Schettino. Ci sono persone intrappolate a bordo. Adesso lei va con la sua scialuppa sotto la prua della nave, lato dritto. C'è una biscaggina. Lei sale su quella biscaggina e va a bordo della nave. Va a bordo della nave e mi viene a dire, mi riporta quante persone ci sono.
Use a photo of Schettino where he is clearly drunk, by the way.
Comandante Schettino. Allora, comandante, le dico una cosa.
He's just telling him to go back on the ship.
He looks like Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah, kinda.
Parli a voce alta. Allora,
This guy is just berating him.
comandante, parli a voce più alta, metta la mano davanti al microfono e parla a voce alta. Chiaro? Fallo venire un attimo, fallo venire qua.
He's like, I don't want.
Allora, in questo momento
He sure seems like a wild little baby.
Ho capito. C'è gente, ascolti, c'è gente che sta scendendo dalla biscaggina
back on the ship.
Mi dice se ci sono bambini, donne o persone bisognose di assistenza e me ne dice il numero di ciascuna di queste categorie. È chiaro? Guardi Schettino che lei si è salvato forse dal mare, ma io la porto veramente molto male, faccio passare il latte di qua. Cazzo. Comandante, per cortesia.
That's the line.
No, per cortesia, lei adesso
Va a
prende e va a
cazzo.
bordo. Mi assicuri che sta andando a bordo.
Io sto andando qua con la lancia dei
soccorsi, sono sotto
And he's
qua, non
still
sono
like,
andato da nessuna parte, sono
no,
qua.
no, I don't
Che sta
want.
facendo, comandante? Sto qua per coordinare i soccorsi. Che sta coordinando lì? Vado a bordo, mi coordini i soccorsi da bordo. Lei si rifiuta? No, non mi sto rifiutando. Lei si sta rifiutando di andare a bordo, comandante? No, ci sto andando. E mi dica qual è il motivo per cui non ci va. Ci sto andando perché ci sta l'altra lancia che si è fermata. Lei vada a bordo, è un ordine. Lei non deve fare altre valutazioni. Lei ha dichiarato l'abbandono nave. Adesso comando io. Lei vada a bordo. È chiaro? Comandante. Non mi sente?
Bullying this guy. It's beautiful.
Mi chiami immediatamente da bordo. C'è il mio aerosoccorritore lì. Dove sta il suo soccorritore? Il mio soccorritore sta a prua. Avanti. Ci sono già dei cadaveri, Schettino. Avanti. Quanti cadaveri ci sono? Non lo so. Uno l'ho sentito. Me lo devi dire lei quanti ce ne sono, Cristo. Ma ti rende conto che è buio e che qua non vediamo nulla? E che vuole tornare a casa, Schettino? È buio, vuole tornare a casa? Salga sulla prua della nave tramite la biscagina e mi dica cosa si può fare, quante persone ci sono e che bisogno hanno. Ora! Comandante, sono il comandante in seconda. Come? Sono assieme al comandante in seconda qui. Salite tutte e due allora. Tutte e due, come si chiama il secondo? Come si chiama il secondo? Dimitri. Dimitri cosa? Dimitri Cristidis. Lei e il suo secondo salite a bordo, ora, è chiaro? Cosa? Io voglio salire a bordo, semplicemente che l'altra scialuppa qua, ci sono gli altri soccorritori, si è fermata e si è installata riva. Adesso ho chiamato altri soccorritori. Lei è un'ora che mi sta dicendo questo, adesso va a bordo e mi viene subito a dire quante persone ci sono. Va bene, comandante, sto andando. Vada, subito.
You just hang up on him. It's cold. Anyway, just going full drill instructor on this like sad drunk man.
Yeah. I mean, it's bizarre that he like fell into a lifeboat and he's like, well, I can't get back to the boat because the lifeboat broke.
Because I don't wanna.
Right?
Because I don't wanna. Dude, you'd be better off just being like, I don't want to fucking be here, dude. I've been drinking for 6 hours. Like, I'm not.
My favorite part is where he's like, are you going to go to the thing? Why aren't you going to the thing? Why aren't you going to the thing now? Why aren't you on the thing? Go on the thing. Go on the fucking thing.
Yeah. Get on the boat.
Yeah,
There's a ladder. Get on the boat.
Who would do something like that?
So now, and of course, the famous quote was "Vada a bordo, cazzo," which is, get on board, get the fuck on board, right?
I think it's literally like get on board dick, but like it means get the fuck on board.
Yeah. So Schettino never reboarded the ship.
Me and group projects.
Yeah. He so I mean, the question was, the lifeboat broke? Maybe. Who knows? Was it safe to bring a lifeboat that may have had like women and kids on it close enough to the pilot ladder? Maybe not. But that being said, folks from onshore the island were already boarding the ship to assist in evacuation efforts well before this phone call was placed, right? Including the deputy mayor of the island of Giglio.
You woke me up for what bullshit? What'd you wake me up for? Get on board.
His name was Mario Pellegrini.
Oh my god. Stereotypes are hurtful facts.
Yeah. Some of them arrived by helicopter, others arrived by lifeboats, which returned to the ship after dropping the passengers off on shore.
Yeah, it was like a 30-second journey.
Yeah, it was like a 30-second journey. And of course, I know the deputy mayor came through on a ship's tender. So I think if he had wanted to get back on board the ship, he probably could have done it.
Oh, I mean, we listened to that whole thing. That is the voice of a man who does not want to get back on the ship.
Yeah.
That's a guy who's just done. He's just done with the, yeah.
Yeah, I've had too much today. I can't do this.
See it, nerds.
Just a small bean who has anxiety.
Yeah. That's who you want in charge of a ship.
No, a small bean who has anxiety, yeah.
With 8,000 people
Look,
on
I
it
have
or whatever.
anxiety too, and I can tell you I would get on the fucking boat. It's fine. Although I would be very obvious
I'm
about
scared
the
of the latter. I've never been a pilot before.
Nah, man, listen, I'm going to get on the boat, and I'm going to go back to the Johnny Walker Blue Cabinet, and you tell them to have a pack of cigarettes waiting for... Shut up. Let's go on the boat. Just get my ass on the boat. I'd be like, I didn't say I was going to be helpful. I said I was going to go back on the boat. That's what I said I was doing.
I believe it's captain's privilege to raid
Your
the
own
ship
liquor
for liquor
cabinet,
as it's
yes.
going down. Yeah. All right.
Oh boy, that's real bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. That was where the ship finally came to rest. Despite this massive failure of communication and coordination, the sloppiest evacuation job in history, the total dereliction of duty of not only the captain, but a lot of the senior crew, the vast majority of people got off the ship before the list got too bad, and the evacuation was almost complete by 1:30.
All thanks to like junior officers and like guys doing laundry and like the deputy mayor of this one town.
Yeah. I think the ship's priest was one of the last people off.
Thank you, Italy.
I mean, this is the shit that you like to see, right?
That and the purser who was found almost 6 hours or almost 24 hours afterwards in a watertight area that was like below the water line.
Oh no, thank you. No, just like tapping out fucking Morse code on the side of the hull.
Brig Johnny Walker.
I did not sign up to be on a submarine that has a rock climbing wall.
So of the 4,229 passengers and crew, 40 to 50 were left on board by 3:44 a.m., according to the Italian Air Force, right? Mostly those trapped in various parts of the ship, right? This was about when the evacuation became an underwater rescue mission, right?
Nope, no thank you.
Nope.
So there were a couple people who were found underwater over the next day, right? In parts of the ship that were watertight, including the ship's purser. I believe there was a couple from, I want to say, South Korea who was found. They managed to bring them out. Final
just
death
locked
toll.
in under the waterline with the robot bartender. They bring you out. Your blood alcohol content is 1.
Yeah. The robot bartender is just kind of crying in a corner.
Yeah,
They just kept shaking me.
Thank God that the robot bartender is hooked up to the emergency power system. So the final death toll was 32, right? So
out of
4,229.
I mean, 1%, a little less.
It didn't do too bad. I mean, I think it was mostly crew who got murked.
What a surprise!
Yeah,
imagine being in the fucking engine room.
Oh,
well, thank you. I'm good.
The folks on the engine room saw what was happening and got the fuck out.
Oh, okay.
Smart.
Yeah. So, and I guess this is where the aftermath starts. So this was an environmental disaster, right? The ship contained as much diesel fuel as a small tanker, also lubricating oil. They wound up putting up a bunch of floating oil barriers around the ship. You can see them starting to put them up here, right? Presumably these would eventually go all the way around. But, you know, they had to refloat and remove the ship, right? Which proved to be a very expensive affair, as we'll see in the next slide.
Shoot a bunch of ping pong balls in there.
Yeah. So the press were like, this captain's a piece of shit. which was accurate.
Which is true. From what we
The captain's a
know.
piece of shit, right? They also started slandering the crew. You know, they're inexperienced. They didn't speak Italian. They were unhelpful.
Who
They
gives
tried
a
to
shit?
save
It's a
themselves
dead-
first.
It's a dying language for a
and it's
dying country. Fuck off.
Well, also, whose fault is that?
They weren't the ones steering it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and it's like the crew obviously disputes this because
I
say.
dispute it too. Fuck
But
off.
even if it is,
wow,
if it is accurate, like you get hired to do fucking laundry. Why
Exactly,
would you
right?
be
Exactly.
expected to coordinate a fucking maritime rescue mission? There's a guy whose job that
knows
is,
stuff,
and
yes.
he's just
Plastered.
and he's
just
just
like-
fucking up there with his mistress.
yeah, exactly. It's like I figured,
I just fucking got
that's
here,
not my
man.
job.
Yeah.
My job is to do laundry.
And meanwhile, this guy is fucking barrel rolling into a lifeboat.
So you fell in, weren't you listening?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He
sorry,
fell in,
excuse
yeah.
me.
So yeah, so the press was angry at the migrant workers who work on
Huge
cruise
surprise.
ships. They're mostly Filipino and Indian, right?
Mhm.
Some of the passenger accounts also said the crew was unhelpful, but again, I think these are
Suck
just
my
Yeah,
dick.
exactly.
cantankerous old racist
I'll also
people.
buy it to
Yeah,
suck my
if-
dick.
I'm like, yeah, just if the guy trying to like get me to jump into a lifeboat is rude to me, I'm definitely going to be shitty about him in the national press, right? It's like,
Well-
he could have been politer.
No.
He was speaking
off.
English,
Look,
and I only
if
speak
you
Italian,
get-
therefore.
Look, the boat is going down. You're gonna get screamed at. Just deal with it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine. This is one of the things I have to explain to people, and sometimes I feel bad because, like, in moments of crisis, I'll kind of yell at Roz, and then I have to be like,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you. We need to take swift, direct action, or we're gonna end up like as part of a mountain feature in northern Canada.
Right, yes.
I'll buy you an ice cream.
So, okay, compensation. Costa Cruises paid everyone who survived 11,000 euros.
That's
or
not bad.
At least the people
Yeah.
who took the offer.
That's the most
11,000
we've
euros.
heard so
That's
far.
not.
from what I
That's,
see.
that's a car. That's
Yeah.
that's not bad. That's not bad.
They also covered the cost of lost personal possessions and treatment for injuries. The crew was paid 2 months of wages,
So $8.
which I'm sure, yeah, exactly.
Again-
75 cents.
Yeah. Still, though, relatively generous, given that a lot of these, the crew is just like, the crew's compensation is
Not being shot.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in the court proceedings that followed for criminal charges, Roberto Ferrarini, who was the cruise company's crisis director, who I should have mentioned earlier, one of the reasons for the delay in the evacuation orders is that the captain made 3 long phone calls with the crisis director.
Just on his bed with his feet up, like,
What are
so,
you doing?"
what you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Just like tangling the phone line.
Like,
No, you hang up.
no, motherfucker, y'all hang up.
He received the longest criminal sentence, 2 years, 10 months, followed by Manrico Giampadroni.
Oh boy. Get through
Giampadroni.
it, buddy.
The cabin service director got 2.5 years. 3 crew members, the first
Why?
officer, the helmsman, and the third
Okay.
officer were given sentences between 1 and 2 years. Ferrarini, who was not on the ship, was convicted of minimizing the extent of the disaster and delaying an adequate response. I'm quoting directly from Wikipedia here. I'm sorry. Giampadroni, the hotel director, was convicted for his role in the evacuation, which is described as chaotic. Of course,
As we've
helmsman
seen.
was convicted for steering the ship the wrong way.
The one thing we didn't want to happen.
None of these individuals actually went to jail. I think most of their sentences were suspended.
Yeah, Italy just kind of has prison abolition by method of like just appealing forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, Scatino actually went to jail. He was sentenced to 16 years. I think
Okay.
he probably would have Probably would have made it with no time if he had just reboarded the ship, but he did not do that.
Should have reboarded the ship.
Yeah, exactly, right? You know, it's not like it was actually going to sink.
Listen to goatee Captain Picard. Get back on the ship.
Yeah. So, all right. Now, you may think this is the end, but it's not.
Of course not.
Because the boat is still sitting there. Which meant
It's an attraction.
They had to do.
It's a unique, monumental attraction.
Yeah, but it's full of fuel oil, and it's also worth a lot in scrap, and also they have to salvage the passengers' possessions if they can.
I guess. Also, it's probably full of bodies.
That's the other thing. Yeah, the body recovery took a while, and they never quite found all of them.
Ghosts.
So, yeah.
Haunted ship. Ghosts.
What they decided to do was salvage the ship. And this was done through a method called parbuckling, right? So this is where what you do is you have these very large square tanks on the side of the ship that you weld on there. These are called sponsons, right? So what you do, as you can see in this diagram, I pulled straight from Wikipedia, as I pulled most of the illustrations here. I did more research than Wikipedia, I swear.
Do more research.
I'm not gonna do new diagrams when I can just pull them from Wikipedia. Anyway, so what you do is you build a frame on the slope underneath the ship, right, that can hold the weight of the ship. You add these sponsons on the side, right? You fill them with water, right? And you sort of pull the ship upright from the frame.
Oh, God.
Okay? Once it's upright, you can then add sponsons on the other side of the ship. And then you can drain them of water and you can float the whole thing. Which is what they did.
This is such a fucking Kerbal-ass solution, right? It needs more weight on that side. Oh, we just add more weight on that side. We just add some weight blocks.
Salvage is a bizarre profession. They do all kinds of weird shit to salvage ships. You know, this is a difficult and dangerous, time-consuming operation since the ship was on questionably steady foundations, right? There were a number of times they had to pause the salvage for a long time because the ship settled or shifted unexpectedly, but they did eventually get it upright. One diver was killed in the process of salvaging the ship. He cut his leg open real bad on some sheet metal. And I guess it was bad enough that he died.
Fuck that.
I didn't figure out what happened there. Yeah. So once they managed to refloat it on September 16th, 2013, at a cost of 600 million euros, they brought it to Genoa and they scrapped it.
Well, better there than alive, I suppose.
It is probably a little more environmentally friendly than, you know, all those Indonesian. Is it Indonesia?
It's Indian.
Indian. Okay, right. Yeah. Shipbreaking will be an episode one of these days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. Maybe just salvage in the abstract. That way I can talk about cool stuff like the New York Fire Patrol.
Yes. Now, before we go on to our next segment, I'm going to get another beer.
we hear you. We are with you, and we have made the episodes longer according to your demands.
Your demands being Roz being like, I'm so tired of recording 2-hour episodes.
Yeah, Roz is like, no, I hate having to like upload it in 2 parts.
This is entirely his fault.
I hate having to spend 10 hours uploading it in 1 part. I hate that it takes 3 hours. Also, I'm gonna add a new bonus episode segment.
Oh, right, I have to do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, we're not gonna spoil that for the listeners.
I actually don't know what it is yet, so we can't spoil it because I gotta write the script at some point.
Oh yeah, it's your turn.
Yeah, it's my turn. Buddy.
Okay. I thought we were doing the bonus episode with the other thing, the crossover episode.
Oh, is that a bonus?
I figured what we were gonna do was do it in 2 parts and have one part that was like free and one that was a bonus.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that gives me time.
Sure.
I guess we'll talk to Roz when he, if and when he gets back from his not even 20-foot walk.
His monumental journey to the fridge.
Yep. Is he? I mean,
fuck, it's so fucking hot
I'm
today.
so sorry.
How
you doing,
Jesus
buddy?
Christ. Oh man, this the air feels like butter.
Oh, wow. Well, this is revenge for what you did to Ireland.
Yeah, it's true. I know. We deserve it.
Yeah.
I have returned.
Right.
What's up?
All right. So this is the story of the Costa Concordia, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
And
F's.
That's in the chat.
we
Yes.
will move on to our next segment, our new segment, where we hear stories of unsafe situations from our audience. That's safety third, because I hate Mike Rowe.
This guy's such an asshole.
All right, shall I read this one then?
Yes.
Oh man, you didn't even trim the fucking funny thing off of the bottom of the thing. Reprehensible.
Avocado.
Yes.
Okay, let me read this to you. Okay. Hello, hosts of Well, There's Your Problem. My name is I am and formerly a pharmaceutical chemist for
It says contract research company.
Yeah,
I
there's
was-
nothing to censor
I
there.
was trying to keep an air of mystique.
Stop
all right?
it.
There's lots
Fine,
of contract research companies, Alice.
I will fine.
It's a
I will not
fly-by-night
embellish
industry.
anymore.
That's
I will
right.
read the
That's right.
thing
That's
as
right.
it says. All right. I worked for a contract research company, happy now, that accepted short-term research contracts with larger pharmaceutical and agrochemical companies. We performed small molecule, pesticide, and active pharmaceutical ingredient synthesis, testing and production scaling, and preclinical studies of the same. During my brief career at the aforementioned company, the company was split in half and sold to 2 different foreign firms. The half I stayed with kept the licenses and permits to handle radioactive materials. So this is already getting good. I was given the onerous task of categorizing and disposing of an accumulated 27 years worth of toxic, radioactive, and biohazardous waste. I say 27 years because 1990 was the earliest date I ever saw on one of the waste jugs data sheets. Any of the unlabeled ones could have been older. This much waste had been allowed to accumulate because there was one building on the campus that had been unused since the mid-1980s and was previously a high-energy chemistry synthesis building. Basically, this is where explosives were made and was designed accordingly, and for this reason it was deemed a safe enough waste collection point for the company to store all of the waste it had accrued since, like, the end of the Soviet Union. As the halves of the company changed hands, the waste desperately needed to be disposed of, so the company's safety officer voluntold me to assist him. I was eligible for this because I had high marks on lab safety on performance reviews, was one of 3 people with radiation safety training, and had, like, no other work going on.
What the fuck, dude?
No good deed goes
I don't even
unpunished.
know what to say to that.
Cleanup and disposal consisted of reading attached waste data sheets, recording the contents in an Excel spreadsheet, putting a matching row number on the waste container, and then consolidating the waste into a matching 55-gallon drum. Except for the unlabeled waste containers. These we had to visually inspect, open, estimate the volume, and then take samples to determine how radioactive, basic, acidic, oxidative, or flammable these solutions were. The flammability tests were performed with a strip of paper, a pair of forceps, and a Bic lighter.
Hope it wasn't white. It'll shorten your lifespan.
Almost all of the individual waste containers were previously used solvent jugs and were luckily transparent brown glass bottles. We performed a visual inspection to see if crystals had precipitated out of and settled in the solution. Crystals can be bad because crystals can be peroxide crystals, which explode when subject to sufficient heat or shock, such as the friction caused by unscrewing the cap or bumping into the bottle. However, crystals can also be benign and just something like silica or sodium sulfate. We found 17 jugs with crystals in them. The safety officer and I segregated them to one of the reaction rooms, which, when the building was operational, we used to conduct chemical reactions with high-energy compounds. The rooms were designed to explode into an adjacent forest if an explosion occurred within them and leave the rest of the building. This is my favorite line from the whole thing. Think of this as a claymore mine for deer. Months after sorting and testing and transporting the rest of the waste, the safety officer ordered peroxide solution testing strips. When they arrived, we went to test to see if there were peroxides present. Or rather, he did. I stood outside the room, wrote down the results of the strips he read to me, and in the event of an explosion I survived, I was to call emergency services and his next of kin. Luckily, only one of the jugs tested positive for peroxide and did not explode. However, this was not the only safety-related incident in this months-long saga of waste analysis and disposal, and we get to why you have chosen this iFunny thing. There was a point where we needed extra bodies to consolidate waste into 55-gallon drums faster, and one of those extra bodies was a new hire. I decided to take the initiative and make sure he was trained up to a safety standard. When I was starting to explain radiation safety to him, I asked how much radiation chemistry he remembered from the first or second year of university chemistry classes, and he told me he had just graduated from high school.
Probably
That's
fine.
fine. It's
probably
fine.
the chemistry is fresher,
Yeah,
actually.
exactly. That's why you don't get stuck in your ways.
Despite my efforts to bring him up to training standards, he wound up getting liquefied dog, brackets, I am not joking, close brackets, splashed onto his cheek.
No, thank you.
Because the high-energy chemistry building had been unused for decades, none of the eye wash stations or emergency showers worked.
Oh my god.
And so we had to trespass onto the section of the campus sold off to a separate company in order to access an eye wash station there. Charges were never filed against us, and the new hire suffered no ill effects other than the knowledge that gel that used to be dog touched his face. I no longer remember which EPA, FDA, or other regulatory bodies' regulations we violated acutely or chronically, nor do I care. I take my increased probability of developing lymphoma and close that chapter of my life. I hope this enlivens the end of an episode.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. I don't know how personal responsibility is necessarily going to help you in this situation.
No,
you simply have the reaction times to dodge the liquefied dog. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like
dog gel.
Why? Here's a question that you may be asking, dear listener: is liquefied dog? Is this a real thing?
It is.
And I would say if you learn anything about animal testing,
oh yeah,
yes, yes, they do nasty things to animals. Well, in fairness, they usually kill them before they liquefy them. But like when you're doing animal testing, sometimes you need a homogeneous mass of animal in order to do the test properly, right? Why I picked this this nice picture here. It says only the
Soup-like.
polydron reduces an entire mouse to a soup-like homogenate in 30 seconds.
You need tissue disruption.
That's so evocative.
Mhm. Yeah, so-
ladies.
So, I mean, anything you think they do to animals that's nasty, they do things that are like 20 or 30 times nastier to them. To animals you think are really cute. Especially cats.
Stop it!
They
Stop
don't
it!
like cats.
Not because I know you're right, and I'm having a good day, and I don't want to think about it.
To be a beagle whose only interaction with testing is I get to wear some cool lipstick and smoke a cigarette. That's basically all I'm doing
How
now.
you feeling
That's
about
like
it?
that's like the ideal is if like you get to smoke.
I thought you stopped
But
smoking.
no,
Alex,
it's like,
you should
I don't
start
know,
dipping. You're gonna have to.
Yes. Or I just start like
my
snooze.
favorite thing is that I learned that Sweden basically said we'll only join the EU if we can keep our snus because it's banned everywhere else in the EU.
That rules.
I thought this was going to be an animal rights thing, but no, it's a tobacco rights thing.
Yeah. The other thing they're mad at the EU for is salmiakki, salty licorice, where the EU is like, no, this contains like fucking caustic
None of
soda.
your
Why are
goddamn
you putting
business
this in
is
your
why.
mouth? This should be illegal. And the fucking Scandinavians are like, no, we demand an exemption from this law. Let us have the extra strong mouth-eating chemicals in our candy.
Unironically, that.
Yeah,
It's not your
like, what are you
goddamn
gonna
job
do?
to tell me where I
like,
can and can't smoke.
You're 700 miles above the Arctic Circle or some bullshit. Like, what else
This
are you
is the
going to
only
do?
thing I
only
have.
thing
Yes.
that like enlivens your day.
Yeah.
It's that or buy a mouse homogenator.
Sven, could you come here
Yeah,
very
exactly,
quickly?
right?
Sven. And then you kill yourself because that's the only thing
30
that's ever happened to you in your life.
Yeah, you think we could homogenate Pete Buttigieg?
No, he would just come.
Yes.
He would come back.
It's not a
He would come
federal.
back.
It's not a federal crime to say that anymore.
If you cannot keep a good rat down.
Welcome to the Hydraulic Press channel.
Wow, that was
Yeah.
safety third.
Now that
No,
we've
safety
added yet
third.
another
Yeah.
segment.
Shake hands with danger.
Yeah, exactly. We're just making this podcast longer and longer every single time.
episodes
that are
longer than 2 hours. My name is Justin Rosniak. I suppose in 2 parts, even though I did this to myself.
We are just literally
Alright.
on the 2-hour mark, so we have
I was about
nailed
to say.
this.
Yeah, we've nailed
sweet.
it.
Well,
Yeah,
5
exactly.
minutes
We'll
of
be
this
fine.
is
This will
just
be out in
us
one
yelling
part.
at each other about dumb bullshit.
Yeah, this is true.
Only safety third reduces an entire podcast to a soup-like homogenate.
Then I won't have to pay rent.
Oh yeah, we'll just wind up. What's the word?
Yeah,
just
we're
static
just
the
going to
whole
be
way.
turned into cherry slurpee, which whatever.
Yes.
Blech. Yep.
So anyway, just keep that image of in your mind as of a dog being shoved into a blender and then shoved into a jar.
Well,
Fucking raw
I
shove.
take
20
it.
years
That's it. That's
35
it. That's
years
it. Yank his
later.
mic.
It
And send
Yes,
us your
please, yeah.
safety thirds. Tell us about
Yep.
the most unsafe job
Yes.
site, work site, doghouse, hen house, outhouse you've ever worked at. We will bleep anything identifiable about you, but we will go into excruciating detail about the dog
Absolutely.
gels.
Yes, exactly. And now one of the things is I want to say this as a disclaimer. We got probably over
we
100,
got a bunch of them.
120 of these in this first week. So if we haven't gotten back to you, or we don't use yours, and most of these were very, very detailed, it's because we don't have that much time.
We're gonna
I'm
have to
sorry.
hire an assistant. Yeah. If you want to know how bad the spillover from this is, today's safety third came to me because Milo from Trash Future, the other podcast that I'm on, sent me it as an email forward and is like, hey, I guess someone was trying to get this to you for Well, That's Your Problem, and sent it to me. So that's how much safety we're getting.
We are, yeah.
So
Also, if you sent in a receipt for the bonus episodes after donating to a bail fund, and I haven't gotten back to you, I'm not ignoring you on purpose. Like we have got.
Yeah, send it to me. I
Oh,
have a
fuck
much
you.
faster response
Fuck you.
rate.
I
Plus,
respond
I
to
will
that.
actually send. Plus, I will actually
I do
send you
that
a
now.
link to the
I do
playlist,
that
and
now.
not, as people keep telling me,
No,
a
I haven't done that
screenshot
for a
of the
month. I haven't done that for
plain
months. I have been sending them the playlist link.
Just type in YouTube slash
Bullshit.
one.
I have been sending them the playlist link. You know what, listeners, if you're out there, do not email me. I will no longer be responding to you. Since Alice thinks she's so cool, I can do it all. Fuck y'all.
All right. So, next episode is about the Tacoma
Suck
Narrows
my ass,
Bridge
Roz.
disaster.
That's right.
Does anyone have any
We're working on
commercials
the
before
bonus
we go?
episode. I swear to God, I just got to write it. Maybe.
Yep. Wait, I thought the bonus episode was the crossover we were doing, with which we're not going to spoil.
That gives you some time,
Okay, cool.
Liam.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Sweet. All right. The only other
Oh,
commercial I
but
have is
also
for the
listen to Trash
Polytron.
Future.
Only the Polytron reduces a mouse to a soup-like
Alice
homogenate
Caldwell
within
Kelly
30
now.
seconds.
Please listen to Trash Future. It's very good. It's available where the podcasts are sold. Oh, it's so hot. Oh, it defaults.
I am Old Man Anderson on Twitter. I'm the guy who yells at you in the YouTube comments.
I'm just Bosniak. I'm the guy who's talking right now. I have an engineering degree.
I am the Activate Windows logo.
Which seems to have disappeared somehow.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Our
Alright,
fallen
keep going.
comrades.
Well, it was halfway
Just
there
activate.
earlier. I do have one commercial, which is, and I plugged this on an earlier episode. We are doing a fundraising stream for Jess Skurain for Senate. She is primarying Chris Coons in Delaware. That primary is on September 15th. We are doing a second fundraising stream this Saturday, August 15th. I'm not sure when I'll be on. We will be continuing the saga of building Tiny Delaware. I don't know if anyone wants to join me.
Oh,
for
let me
that.
know when.
It's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got to figure that out. But it will be
We are a
on
very well organized podcast.
Saturday the 15th. But yeah, Jess Skurain, progressive candidate,
Who
primary.
does suck
Chris
ass.
Coons, who's one of the most conservative Democrats in the Senate.
Also, there's like 15 people in Delaware, so, you got to just win 7 of them over.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Delaware is, you just have to get the Wilmingtonians. But, the other thing is it's a tax haven, so who knows what's going to happen. But, I know that, like, electoral politics is bullshit, but, like, come watch the stream. Get people excited to
Building Tiny Delaware.
Building Tiny Delaware. We got part of Tiny Wilmington made the last time. We had interesting Delaware facts. I will try and finish Tiny Wilmington on this stream and move on to maybe Tiny... what else is in Delaware?
The pool where Joe Biden confronted
Tiny
Corn
Dover.
Pop.
Tiny Dover, maybe Tiny
Rehoboth.
Dover International Speedway. Tiny Rehoboth Beach, that's on there. Tiny Lou's Ferry, I already started that one.
Man, any city skylines thing gets like 20% more fun when you stick Tiny in front of it. There should be Tiny Franklin from now on.
Well, at some point, I'm going to have to do selective compression. So, because I want to eventually fit the Limerick nuclear generating station in there. That'll be a fun episode in 2035, whenever I get that far. But yeah, so that's another stream. I don't know who'll be on at this point. I don't actually know the time we'll do it. I do know it'll be on Saturday, August 15th. Let me
Keep watching the skies.
Yes, exactly. So, that is my commercial. And I think that is the episode.
Believe so.
All right.
We did it.
Yes, we did it. All right. Need to turn off the recording here.